नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुर्वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवर्षभानवी देवी दयिताय कृपातये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभुवे नमः माधुर्योज्वल प्रेमाद्य श्री रूपानुगभक्तिदा श्री गौरा करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्री मूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुगा विरुद्ध सिद्धांत द्वंद हारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्बरसाम्भोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः नमो भक्तिविनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगमनाय गौराविर्भाव भूमिस्त्वं निर्देशः सज्जनप्रिय वैष्णव सर्वभौमा श्रीजगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरहृषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तवतार भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमस्तुते जयतां सुरतो पङ्गोर्मम मन्दामतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्य पदाम्भोजौ राधा मदनमोहनौ दिव्यधृतारण्यकल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नाकरस्य मासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा श्रीलगोविन्ददेवो पृष्ठादिभिसेव्यमानौ स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भी वंशीमठतटस्थितौ कर्षन्वेणुस्वनेर्गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रियेस्तुना सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Welcome all of you to our Saturday evening Srimad Bhagavatam session. The name of today's chapter is written on the board. No chances. Don't want to take any chances. So this is the third chapter. That's a mistake actually. It should be chapter 3. Yeah, it's the third chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 2, and it all concludes in the first canto with Maharaj Parikshit sitting in front of Shukdev Goswami arriving, and Maharaj Parikshit ready to give everything up and wants to hear what is the duty of a dying man, right? Because he's going to die in 7 days. So his query is, what should I be doing? But because he's a devotee always looks for the best interest of others, not just for himself. And therefore, he uses this as an opportunity to enlighten others. It's not just to hell with others. I am in crisis. I need help right now, and let me help. Like that aerostess, she makes the announcement. When the oxygen mask comes down, first you help yourself, then think of others. He could have easily thought, like probably some of us would have thought that ये समाज सेवा का time नहीं है. This is a crisis. I need to get my house in order. Then we'll see. No, let it be in the open. Let it be in public, so that as many as possible should get benefit of my situation. My situation, which is a curse. My situation, which is a very tough situation. It's basically life and death. 7 days away from death. Let my difficult situation become a blessing to everyone else, and let the others come to know, because they will not have a 7 day notice. None of us will get this notice, right? Any of you have some setting with Chitragupt, with Yamraj? हमने करके रखा है setting, notice आ जाएगा. None of us have. So Maharaj Parikshit is asking this question for the benefit of all of us. What should a dying man be doing? When a man is close or woman is close to death, what should they be doing? And in the first chapter itself, without beating around the bush, Shukadev Goswami answers that Hari Katha, pure devotional service, is the solution. You just perform Hari Katha, Shravanam and Kirtanam, and everything will be done. In the second chapter, the Lord in the Heart. That chapter, if you remember last time when we discussed, essentially the two ways of liberation were discussed, one of an attached yogi and one of an unattached yogi. The attached yogi has to follow the path of Ashtanga Yoga by meditation, and by following that whole process, we had put up a chart. And an unattached yogi is the one who has at least understood that to achieve Krishna, I have to become detached from things of this world. And he or she accepts that. And then the process is faster, because then the rules and regulations of Krishna consciousness are accepted by that person. Like in the Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami tells us 6 things to follow and 6 things to avoid. Right? So a devotee who understands that, yeah, it's not just about following, certain things have to be avoided also. Certain things have to be given up. And to give up things that we like is not so palatable. It's not so nice. It's not so easy. But if I'm serious about my spiritual life, then I have to do it. Right? So an unattached yogi, then for them the path of liberation is easy. And then after giving those two categories, Shukadev Goswami comes to the point. He's like, you don't have 7 days to get unattached or to follow this Ashtanga yoga system or to follow all this yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dhyan, dharan, and then come to samadhi. So I'm giving it to you in concise form. Because in Kali Yuga, that's the only thing that works. We don't have the patience, we don't have the tolerance, we don't have the intelligence to follow something systematically. And so therefore he says, do this one thing. Anyone remembers what that one thing is? Yeah, Shravanam, Harikatha, Shravanam. Just do this Shravanam and everything will be achieved. Love of God will be achieved by doing Shravanam. So by hearing, and then Prabhupada elaborates, hearing from the right source, hearing from the bona fide source, not just hearing from anything. Nowadays on YouTube also it has become a big fad that Bhagavad Kathas go on. And there are many Kathakars who have a lot of followers and their live Kathas go on. And YouTube algorithm is built in such a way that if you regularly watch Krishna conscious videos, it will think that this is also Krishna conscious and it will keep giving you. I'm sure most of you don't touch YouTube. You all are too fixed up in reading Prabhupada's books. You don't have time for YouTube and other things. But people like me who are not so focused and we do take some form of entertainment from YouTube. If your form of entertainment from YouTube is just Krishna conscious videos, then YouTube will throw up such videos also for you. That's not what, and they'll be like thousands of people in attendance and thousands of people online, and the videos of these kathakars will be going into the lakhs, the views. But that's not the kind of Shravanam that Shukadev Goswami is telling Parikshit Maharaj to do. The Shravanam that we do is from devotees, from realized devotees, not just from devotees. And therefore, we always tell everyone, please hear Srila Prabhupada's lectures as much as possible. Like when I was new, for the first couple of years, I was not allowed to hear anyone else's lecture. Only Prabhupada. Every Prabhupada lecture I have heard twice at least. And that creates, because one is you're hearing from Prabhupada, and second is you're hearing his Vani. One is the content, which is perfect, and second is you're also associating with him through his Vani, his voice. Some people say, yeah, I read the transcripts of Prabhupada's lectures. Great, amazing. But there is no matching hearing Prabhupada's transcendental voice. We don't have that privilege for other acharyas because recordings were not available back then. There is no recorded lecture of Bhakti Siddhanta. What an amazing thing it would be to hear his voice. But Prabhupada's every lecture from 1966 onwards has been recorded. And so hearing, just like Shukadev Goswami told Maharaj Parikshit, the Shravanam is the thing that a dying man is supposed to do. So similarly, we have to understand the Shravanam and Kirtanam. These are the two foundational principles of our devotional life. They must go on every day. Every day, if we are serious. And as Prabhupada had once told a reporter who asked him that, why are you recruiting so many young people, making them sannyasis, making them Vaishnavis, making them Vaishnavas? That is supposed to be done at old age. And so Prabhupada asked the reporter, what define old age? He said, closer to death, that is old age. I said, who can guarantee who is close to death? Can you guarantee you're going to die after 35, 40 years? And so we should also take this clue that this is for us. Maharaj Parikshit, through Maharaj Parikshit, Sukadev Goswami is speaking to each and every one of us. And therefore we must take seriously this process of Shravanam and Kirtanam every day and hearing from right source. So then this chapter is called Pure Devotional Service, the Change of Heart. Now, how many of you read all the translations that were posted on the group? It was just 25 translations. So if you read, uh, it's a very interesting chapter because the first 9 verses have nothing to do with pure devotional service. And after reading those, you will feel I'm in the wrong place. And then Shukadev Goswami, Sutta Goswami, he's speaking here, Shaunak Rishi, asks him these questions. But Shukadev Goswami, essentially talking to Maharaj Parikshit, brings it to the pure devotional service, change of heart. So let's see. Verse 1. Shri Shuka Uvacha Evameta Nigaditam Prishtavan Yad Bhavan Mama Nrinamyan Mriyamananam Manusyeshu Manisinam. Sri Sukdev Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, as you have inquired from me as to the duty of the intelligent man who is on the threshold of death, so I have answered you. You inquired, you asked, what is the goal of a person at the time of death? I have answered. You are serious about your spiritual life, and so I gave you a perfect solution. But then he's thinking, not everyone will be as serious as Maharaj Parikshit. How many of us are as serious as Maharaj Parikshit? Even if we get a 7-day show clause notice from Yamraj, still will we be as, do we feel confident to be as serious as Maharaj Parikshit? No. At least I don't. Because if I'm told, then devotional service will be there, but along with that, so many other things. ये पूरा करना है, ये सेटल करना है मैटर, इसको ये करना है, उसको जाके उसने डोज देके आना है लास्ट टाइम के लिए, एक बार तो सुना के आऊं, क्या जाता है मेरा उसके बाद. Uh, so he's thinking, ठीक है, परीक्षित महाराज का तो हो गया, भागवतम खत्म हो गया. Essentially भागवतम खत्म हो गया, उसको दे दिया solution. But what about these other guys? These other guys who are not so uh, serious about achieving the topmost goal of life, not the topmost goal of life. What about them? What should be done for people who want sense gratification? People who have still a taste for sense gratification, who feel that it life cannot just be Krishna consciousness, or I cannot just give it up. I don't have that that much of strength yet to be able to give things up. What should be done? Right? So the Vedic version, the scriptures teach us that for other things you can go to demigods. For other things you can go to demigods, and you pray to demigods, and demigods will satisfy some of your material desires. Krishna may not satisfy material desires. Demigods will satisfy material desires because that's the job of the demigods to do that. And if you do what the demigod wants, you will get what you want. Of course, adjusted in your karma. Demigod also cannot give you something beyond your karma. But for example, if some material benefit is due in your karma next lifetime, and if you really pray and really follow everything nicely that a demigod has, then that thing went off. Someone touched a wire somewhere. Yeah, you did. Yeah, she just came. No, उसने वो खिला दिया. Just press that. So one more reason why we request all of you to be on time, so that we can lock the door and the wire doesn't move. So the demigods, if we worship them properly, then they will grant us benedictions. What does Krishna say about demigod worship in the Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter? What is Krishna's opinion? Avidhi purvakam. And नहीं वो अलग है. So avidhi purvakam. This is not proper prescribed method for worship for on ultimate way. And then he calls them less intelligent. How many of us are less intelligent? If we compare Maharaj Parikshit as the standard of intelligence. So now what Shukdev Goswami is basically trying to bring home the point is that one principle should be clear in our life, that I am not the doer. Even if I want something, it is not just my hard work which will bring it. There also I have to become subservient to some superior authority. And in this case, he's recommending let those authorities be the demigods. If you want this material benefit, worship this demigod. If you want that material benefit, worship that demigod. The principle being learn to accept someone superior to you, even for material life. Now, unknowingly also that is happening in our material life. Can we think of like generic people or institutions who are superior to us in our material life? We all have something, right? Many of us may be having bosses. Those who are business owners, your customers and clients are superior to you. For everyone, certain rules and regulations of the government we follow. We have our parents or our guardians who are superior to us. Grudgingly also, these people we have to follow their thing. No matter how much we don't like our boss, we have to follow in certain things. If we quit one boss, we'll have to go somewhere else. So the Vedas are telling us for material enjoyment also, accept कुछ authority होना ही चाहिए life में. And then if you're serious in your spiritual life, the same principle is applicable. A spiritual authority is required in life. Either way, authority is required. So Shukadev Goswami now in the next 9 verses gives for people who are interested in sense gratification, in material enjoyment. Therefore, he terms them as less intelligent. What should they do? So, what desire a person has, and for that, which demigod he or she should worship to get it. So I don't think anyone has this desire. If you still do, if you want to get absorbed in Brahmajyoti, then you should worship Lord Brahma. Oops, how did this come here? But if you want to enjoy powerful sex life, then you should worship Indra. So if those of you who have seen Little Krishna, you know Indra goofs up every now and then. So that's the result of having powerful sex life. Then you start to think that I am the greatest. So anyone interested here, please worship Indra. Good progeny. Want people want to have a lot of children, then worship Prajapati Daksha. Good fortune. Want a good fortune in life. कोई अच्छा होना चाहिए. At least इसमें तो कृष्णा आएगा. Answer should be Krishna for this. Durga Devi. Power. Lot of power. Who doesn't want power? People will. चलो पहला चीज probably no one is interested in because we want to enjoy. क्या ब्रह्म ज्योति क्या ठीक है. If you say second one is not what you want, third one probably don't want because who wants to maintain so many kids? मगजमारी नहीं चाहिए. But the fourth one, good fortune, who doesn't want? Fifth one, power. Come on, you'll be lying if you say you don't want power, and therefore we've been cheating you in worshipping Krishna. You should go and worship Agnidev. Krishna worship में power नहीं मिलेगा. Money again. Who doesn't want money? We all will be thinking, हाँ ठीक है, आना चाहिए, मैं donate करूँगा ज़्यादा. आने दो, आने दो. रेगुलर डोनेट, कलश पे कलश करते रहूंगा, पूरा साल भर कलश करूंगा. जन्माष्टमी नहीं होगी तो भी लाके कलश दूंगा. आप प्लीज you bless me with money. Supposed to worship the Vasus. Probably most of you don't even know who the Vasus are. That's why there's money problem. Become a hero. Who doesn't want to again become a hero? Worship Lord Shiva, Rudra. Large stock of grains. मतलब, because like food, clothing, shelter, they are the three essential things of life. So there should be no problem in terms of food, in terms of maintenance. Worship Aditi. So now you know all the things that you wanted in your life, where to go to, whom to go to rather, for everything that you wanted. We've been cheating you till now to worship Krishna. It's actually these guys. So for these things, these are the people whom, these are demigods, not guys. They are demigods whom to worship and follow those processes to get these things. Heavenly planets to enjoy. Those who want to go to America, those who want to shift to the posh locations, you worship the Adityas. Someone who wants a great kingdom in material life, or in a definition of that now would be a big house, many homes, home in every city, things like that, then you worship Vishwadev. You want to be popular. Again, now who doesn't want to be popular? You're lying if you are saying, no, I don't want to be. Even in spiritual life, people want to be popular. All these kidas are there. That's why we are here in this material world in the first place. We couldn't accept that Krishna is the only one who should have all this. Money, fame. That's why he's Bhagavan, no? Aishwarasya, Shasha, Virasya, Sasha, Jnana, Vairagyam, Chaiva. This is the Aishwarya of God. And that is why Krishna is God. But the only one popular in Golok Vrindavan, people only talk about Krishna. And I was scratching my head thinking, why not me? Kabhi to mere ko bhi, phew, come back, come down here. So now that kida is there for popularity. क्या होता है वो? Even on social media, right? People want likes and people want all these things. So, sadhya, long span of life, Ashwini Kumar's, strong body, earth, stability in post and position. In life, you achieve something, you don't want anyone to dislodge you from that. Earth and horizon, beauty. It's not the cosmetic industry whom we should worship. We should worship the Gandharvas for beauty. Get rid of all those creams. Find a temple where Gandharvas are being worshipped. All the money that you spent on cosmetics, put it in the hundi of the Gandharvas. Some beauty may come. Even for men. Good wife. Apsaras and Urvashi. Not Krishna. Not Krishna. Change the mantra from Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu to, Hey Urvashi Karuna Sindhu. Joby wife, now make her good. Now you've given, now at least make her good. Please. Deen Bandhu, Urvashi, please help me. Same, good husband. Dominion over others. Should be able to dominate people. Yeah, some people, their personality is dominating. Whatever they do, it's like they have this siddhi of dominating over people. Lord Brahma. Tangible fame. Even in offering material things, Shukadev Goswami is offering some tangible things, not just cheap. एक post डाल दिया 200 लोग ने Facebook पे like किया, I think I'm famous. Tangible fame. Yagya. This one everyone wants. It's not whom you think it is. Varuna. Vast learning. Please read the translations and the chapter names. Lord Shiva. Good marital relations. It's not Krishna. It's Uma, wife of Lord Shiva. Dominion over other, I think we already did that. Manus, something else. Victory over an enemy. The demons. The demons. Protection of heredity. My thing should go on. Various demigods. And after speaking all this, everything that a person would want is satisfied here. Fame, beauty, wealth, bank balance, grains, good, powerful sex life, good husband, good wife, good marital relations, glory, tangible fame. Everything is vast learning, being able to dominate over others, victory over enemy. Everything that a person would want is spoken here, and different demigods are given. And finally, then he says, spiritual advancement. Which demigod do we have to worship for spiritual advancement? Not just Vishnu. He says, Lord Vishnu and his devotees. Finally, Shukdev Goswami, after speaking about for everyone else, then he brings Parishit Maharaj again back to the main thing. What you want is not any of these things. For what you want, worship the Lord and worship his devotees, which is what Parikshit is doing. Each and every of the 60,000 sages who came over there, he worshipped them. And then he worshipped Shukadev Goswami when he came. So he's following that. So, because we are not pure devotees, we still have material desires. This is what people who have material desires need. But we should know that that's not what I should be wanting. I should want this spiritual advancement. And for that, this is what I have to do. I'm doing the right thing. I have to just do it nicely. And then, after speaking all this and concluding the ninth verse with this, if you want spiritual advancement, my dear king, please worship Lord Vishnu and his devotees. And then he speaks the 10th verse, which is a very famous verse. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of material desires, sarvakam, without any material desires, akam, or desiring liberation, mokshakam, must by all means worship the supreme whole, the personality of Godhead. And Prabhupada in the purport focuses on this one word, udharadhi. Udharadhi means intelligent. And therefore, an intelligent person will not get swayed by all those uh, allurements which were provided in the previous verses. Beauty, fame, wealth, all these things which are the right of only one person. Who? Krishna. Only Krishna has the right to have all those things. And this is our training to go back to the spiritual world, is to break this notion that I am the enjoyer. To break this notion that I can have good bank balance and I can have good sex life and I can have a lot of fame and wealth and all these things, power. It is to break that notion. Because now in the next verses he goes on to say that even if people worship all those demigods to get all those things, they are still less intelligent. And they're less intelligent, and because there are four reasons given for that. The first problem of having material desires is the whole exercise is very futile. What is the meaning of the word futile? Sorry? It is in vain, it is useless. Why? Why is it called futile? Why having material desires? Why is it called futile? You'll still get it. You'll still get it, na? Temporary thoda to milega. Long term nahi, but short term you'll get. Something we'll get. But people who are after constitutional position are anyway not into it. So it may or may not happen. Any material desire we have, there's a 50% chance to get it. So it's futile because the odds are too less for something to happen. The kind of enjoyment that we want, the odds of that happening are too less, and therefore it is a futile exercise. The second reason is what Pramod Gopinath Prabhu said, that what we hope we will get from that activity is never met. Our expectations are never met even if we get what we want. Have we all had this experience with anything, big or small? We with a vacation or with a new gadget or with a relationship or with a promotion or with money or with even enjoying on Sunday, we have expectations कि ये होगा तो ये होगा ये होगा, and जब वो होता भी है, it doesn't live up to its name. That नाम बड़े दर्शन छोटे. So it's like that. Material desires are naam bade darshan chote. They promise too much, but they cannot deliver. Third reason, which again somebody gave, is it's temporary. Ultimately, it will come to an end. So even if chalo you got what you wanted, and even if the result was as much as you expected, you got it. Still, one day it will end. It is not permanent. Why is it not permanent? Because it started, so it will end. Even if your bank balance doesn't end, what will end? Life? Life will not end. Soul never dies. Life in this body will end. And that bank balance belongs to this body. It will end. Soul can't take it. Even cryptocurrency, soul cannot take. It can only take Sukruti, currency in Sukruti. That is pious spiritual credits. Only that is what the soul can take, nothing else. So even if you get what you want, and even if it is as good as what you expected, it's going to end one day. And the last reason that is given for why material desires are foolish is duality. With every material happiness, material distress is attached to it. It has to be there. Every coin has two sides. Material happiness means material distress. It will come. You can take any example. You overeat and enjoy yourself, there's going to be a difficulty afterwards. Whatever you do, there's going to be a difficulty afterwards. You bunk your work today, you just relax at home, tomorrow you will have double work to do. For everything, you go out on a vacation where it's a cool place to get out of Mumbai weather, and you just overdo it there, you fall sick. Every single thing that material happiness brings, it attaches a level of distress with it. Maximum distress is what? वो चीज खत्म होएगा. जब वो खत्म होगा, it pinches a lot. Right? So, therefore, having material desires is termed as less intelligent by people like Shukadev Goswami. And therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna calls these material desires as Dukkha yoyana evate. Chapter 5, Krishna says, you can repeat, Ye hi samsparsha ja bhoga dukkha yoyana evate adi antavanta kaunteya nate shuramate buddha. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. So, every material desire has with it suffering associated with it. Whatever you think of. Do you all agree with that? We have experience in our life. When we tell this to the youth, they have not had sufficient kicks in life to be able to accept. But most of you have had sufficient experience of life to understand that the material world is not designed for permanent happiness. So therefore, here, although Shukdev Goswami is giving this list of who to worship, he's coming back to the point. The spiritual advancement, just worship Krishna. Whether you are akam, no desires, sarvakam, full of desires, or mokshakam, wanting whatever impersonal, just tivrena bhakti yogena, just engage in bhakti yoga, and all these desires will be fulfilled. Fulfilled doesn't mean मुझे सब मिलेगा. What could it also mean? Fulfilled to a person who takes a desire itself goes away. And that's the only way a material desire can be fulfilled, if it goes away. It's the only way that it cannot be fulfilled. I have a desire for this, I have a desire for this, whatever it could be. Say, for example, settling in America. Now, people who nowadays want to settle in America, it's not an easy thing to settle in America. They don't want us there. They don't want us there. And we want, it's like, that local train mate, second class compartment with the guy who sits on the fourth seat. And with 3/4 of his butt hanging outside, he somehow sits. And that same guy, after 10 minutes, will be on the window seat. थोड़ा ऐसे करके, ऐसे करके, ऐसे करके. So Indians going to America is like that. जो visa मिला दे दो, illegal भी illegal, जो visa मिला दे दो. And then after that, we'll expect citizenship. That's not easy. It takes 20, 25 years. Sometimes after 25, 30 years also people don't have. It's like the Gulf, they don't give permanent citizenship to anyone. आओ काम करो, हमारे लिए काम करो, हम तुमसे बेनिफिट लेंगे और 30 साल के बाद जब रिटायरमेंट होगा, यू हैव टू गो बैक टू योर कंट्री. That's the system. In any Gulf country, you cannot become a citizen. You have to come back after whatever retirement. तब तक एंजाइटी, क्या होगा क्या होगा. You just decide, नहीं जाना है गल्फ, नहीं जाना है अमेरिका, हो गया खत्म. That's it. That anxiety is only gone. अमेरिका सिटीजन मिलेगा, नहीं बनना ही नहीं है, जाना ही नहीं है, खत्म. So that's a nice joke, but material desires also. We cannot do it like that. But like in the example of America, if you situate yourself nicely in India, you have a nice setting for yourself, that you don't feel the need to go anywhere else. Automatically the desire to go to anywhere else goes away. So Shukdev Goswami is saying, just practice bhakti yoga and you will be situated very nicely. You will be genuinely happy. And then all these sarvakam, all these things will go away. They'll go away. And that's the only way material desires can be satisfied, when they go away. So, a person may ask, आपने हमको इतने सारे अच्छे चीजें बताए जो एक्चुअली हमें चाहिए, ब्यूटी, ये वो एंड ऑल, और फिर आपने एंड में बता दिया विष्णु. सो नाउ वी आर डिवोटीज, वी हैव टू से नहीं, मेरे को तो लास्ट वाला ही चाहिए, मुझे और कुछ नहीं चाहिए. एंड देन आप बोलते हो कि अकाम, सर्वकाम, मोक्ष काम, जो भी चाहिए भक्ति योगा करो, सब मिल जाएगा. So a question could be asked. So I, for whom verses 2 to 9 have been spoken, but technically I know that the 10th verse is what I'm supposed to do. Will it just naturally happen? Do I have to not put any effort on it? I have to put effort. What effort? Shukdev Goswami tells Maharaj Parikshit, association of devotees. That is the thing that takes us from wanting this big list of material desires to only wanting to serve Lord Krishna. That link is association of devotees. That's verse 11. Etavaneva yajatam iha nishreyasodaya bhagavat tachalo bhavo yad bhagavata sangata. All the different kinds of worshippers of multi demigods can attain the highest perfectional benediction, which is spontaneous attraction unflinchingly fixed upon the supreme personality of Godhead only by the association of the pure devotee of the Lord. So, from going from having this big list of material desires, which at least I deep in my heart still have, to and but now it's not just that, we also have our spiritual desires, we also have our interest in Krishna consciousness. But how did we go from their fully material desires to now maybe whatever, for you all it may be 90 material, spiritual desires and 10 material, and for a person like me it may be 10 spiritual and 90 material. How did that percentage move even 1% on this side? Association of devotees. Right? For 99% of the people, it was association. Somebody may have just read the Bhagavad Gita and gotten convinced. Even in that, you can argue you are associating with the pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada, through his teachings. So it is actually association of devotees. If we think, you take a minute to think how this transformation happened from 100% to 99.9 to 99 to 95 to 90 to 80 to 70 to 60 to 50 40 30 whatever it went, right? It went like this. It was like petrol pump. You go, oh, batti jali hai gaadi mein, zero petrol, and then they start putting, and after when they start the kata doesn't move, and your rupee is moving. 100 रुपए है लीटर, तो वो तो 100 200 300 400 500 600 और वो काटा उधर ही है. And then after it crosses 1000, then the kata moves, and then it moves, and then it moves. But the petrol is going into the car from the first drop that goes in, the first rupee which buys whatever 0.000000 liter, 1 liter of petrol. In our spiritual life also, the minute we met a devotee, the minute we read a purport, the minute we interacted, that kata started to move. And to the extent you keep continuing to fill petrol, to the extent you keep associating with devotees, that kata starts to move. It starts to move. It starts to move. Right? So if we analyze in our lives, this is happening. Like Keshav Maharaj says, no, devotees are agents of Vaman Dev. They enter by saying, एक माला कर लो खाली 10 minute. And then after a while it's like, यार 16 माला वो भी अच्छे से करने के लिए 2 घंटे से ज़्यादा चाहिए. I was strict. I was told 10 minutes. And they say, खाली ये जो भी खाते हो ऑफर कर लो. मेंटली करो, वो भी पूरा वो सब करने के मेंटली जस्ट ऑफर. जो whatever you eat, non-veg no, mentally offer it. From that to now, no onion, no garlic, food cooked by a devotee, Satvik, Ekadashi, fasting till noon, Nirjal. My God, how did that happen? We got tricked. From reading one page you read, वो आप लोग उधर ही अटके हो अभी तक. आप लोग का काटा उधर से हिला नहीं है. But for some of you, there are some illustrious people. I'm not talking about myself. There are some illustrious people in this room who've read entire Bhagavatam, who've read Chaitanya Charitamrita, who have plans to read it again. So, how did that happen from one page to, boss, I have this plan, I have to complete Bhagavatam? Association of devotees. So, what is greater than association of devotees? What is a treasure greater than association of devotees in our life? And therefore, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is talking to Ramanand Rai, and they are having this wonderful exchange on the banks of a Godavari, and Mahaprabhu is taking the position of the hearer and giving Ramanand Rai, the devotee, the position of the speaker, just like Krishna did with Bhishma Dev. When Yudhishthir was confused, Bhishma, you answer. Krishna tried to answer. Yudhishthir, that was all Krishna's arrangement. Yudhishthir was not satisfied. Bhishma, Ramanand Rai is answering. So Mahaprabhu asks him, what is the most biggest disfortune or misfortune rather What's the biggest misfortune in the life of a devotee? And Ramandra answers, the lack of association of devotees. When a person doesn't have association of devotees, he is considered the most unfortunate person on the planet. And then he asks, what's the greatest fortune of a devotee? He says, having association with pure devotees, having association with devotees of that stature. That's the greatest fortune. So our kata is now somewhere wherever it is. But for it to become 100% unflinching, only then will a person go back to Godhead. When there is unflinching desire to serve the Lord, it will also, from the 0.01% to 100%. Solution is only one, association of devotees. So we should never think कि हाँ अभी इतना पेट्रोल है कि अगले डेस्टिनेशन तक जा सकता हूँ तो और भरने की जरूरत नहीं है. If you fill 25% petrol, once you start driving, what happens to the petrol? There's only one thing that happens to it. What is that? It's to get reduced. The petrol starts getting burnt. So if you don't regularly go to a petrol pump, your car is not going to move. Then it's going to become bhangar. So if we don't regularly take association of devotees, our spiritual life is going to become bhangar. It's Prabhupada says, if you're not moving in this direction in spiritual life, you're just moving in one direction, backwards. And so we should, learning from Shukadev Goswami, take this association of devotees very, very seriously. Srila Prabhupada writes, Krishna's place, Golok Vrindavan, that is spread everywhere. How does that Golok Vrindavan become spread? As soon as there is devotee. Yes. Tatra tishtami narada yatra gayanti madbhakta. Krishna says, Naham tishtami vaikunthe na cha yoginam hridayeshu. I do not stay in Vaikuntha Loka or within the heart of the yogis. Tatta trishtami narada yatra gayanti madbhakta. I stay where my devotees are chanting about me, about my glories. This is the process immediately. So wherever there are devotees, there is Krishna. Wherever there are devotees, there is devotional service. Wherever there are devotees, we are safe and protected from Maya. So we must ensure that our lives are molded in such a way that there is always association of devotees. And beyond a certain stage, it should not just be association of devotees, hi, hello, how are you? It should be accountability, voluntary accountability to a devotee of my spiritual life. I should voluntarily become accountable for my spiritual life to somebody who's superior to me. I should consider somebody superior to me, first of all. And then I should voluntarily hold my life accountable to them, my spiritual life. And even my material decisions, because they have an impact on my spiritual life. And then I will be rightly situated. Then going from material desires to becoming as pure as Maharaj Parikshit desire will happen just by this association of devotees. So in the next 6 verses, Shaunak Rishi is telling Suta Goswami that this Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadev Goswami, like he's encouraging him to speak more. He's saying, yeah, both of them have this wonderful association of devotees from the beginning of their life. They are such wonderful devotees. They got association of devotees from the beginning of their life. In fact, Parikshit Maharaj got association in the womb of Krishna. And Sukadev Goswami also got association in the womb of the Bhagavatam. So in this way, he's telling him, yeah, what you're saying is right. I can analyze now. These two personalities, both of them are products of association of devotees. He glorifies Maharaj Parikshit's activities, which we have discussed several times when we were discussing first canto of how, because of the Pandavas, it was only Krishna in his life all along. Shukadev Goswami also we've discussed in detail how he heard the Bhagavatam and how when he came out he wanted nothing else to do but the Bhagavatam brought him back to Vyasdev. In the purport, Prabhupada, and this is why we should read Prabhupada's books. There's so many gems hidden in Prabhupada's. In the purport to one of these verses, in this section, where the glorification of Parikshit and Shukadev is going on, Prabhupada writes, just like Shukadev Goswami and Maharaj Parikshit, we also had, Prabhupada, whenever he refers to himself in his purport, he writes we instead of I. We also had the good fortune of having the association of devotees from our childhood. Our father encouraged us and he allowed us to hold festivals like Rath Yatra and Dol Yatra, and he spent sumptuously on arranging these festivals and on prasad. And in this way, we got solid impressions in our childhood. And then Prabhupada says, and our spiritual master had the same thing because his father was Bhaktivinoda Thakur. His father was a devotee. So from beginning, he also got these spiritual impressions. So in most of our cases, like in my case, we did not get these impressions from childhood. And therefore, we should make up for lost time by having more of these impressions. Prabhupada says, these devotees who are born, these children who are born to devotees, whatever else they may do or they may not do in life, they'll never forget that Krishna is a supreme Lord and I should serve him. That is not true for some of us. So we should make more use of the association of devotees because we need it. At least we should feel we need it and then we'll do something about it. It's very easy to fall back in Maya. And Maya is too dangerous and we are a very lucrative customer for her now because we are getting out of reach and or at least we think we are getting out of reach. So her attacks will be stronger on us. And therefore, let's hold tight to the association of devotees. Give up our so called independence voluntarily and associate with devotees, and then it's all set. And so now, Shukdev Goswami is really in this mood of association of devotees, most important thing. And then he speaks the 17th verse. We'll end in 5 minutes. Ahur harati vaipumsam udyan ashtam chayan asau तस्यर्थे यच्छनो नीता उत्तम श्लोक वार्तया. Both the rising and setting, both by rising and setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all good personality of God. So when we have association of devotees, Shukadev Goswami is saying, what is the next thing you'll do? You'll talk about Krishna. In the Gita, Krishna says, Matchitta, Madgata Prana, Bodhayanta Parasparam, Kathayantascha Mam Nityam, Tushyanti Cha, Ramanti Cha. This is what devotees do when they meet. They talk about Krishna. They enlighten each other about Krishna. And thus, by talking about topics of Krishna, they are experiencing newer and newer happiness. So, this Krishna Katha, Shravanam, it all ties up. In the second chapter, Shukadeva Goswami ends by saying, Maharaj Parikshit, just do Shravanam and perfection will be achieved. Just hear about Krishna. And in this chapter, he concludes by saying, just associate with devotees. When you associate with devotees, automatically Shravanam will happen. And that Shravanam will ensure that your life is not reducing. That does not mean a person who's a devotee is not going to die. But our life is not getting wasted. Because every second we are one step closer to death. But by performing Shravanam and Kirtanam in the association of devotees, every day we are one step closer to going back to Godhead, one step closer to achieving love of God, one step closer to completely destroying our material desires. And therefore, such a person is like, say, Amar, eternal. Soul is anyway eternal, but eternally in the cycle of birth and death. And here we have a chance to break this and eternally be with Krishna. Yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Eternally be in the spiritual world. Any questions? Yes, bro.
Sometimes devotees new, they say that we will earn money and we will give donation. Then how to convince them? Because ultimately they will be very busy earning money that.
So what devotees usually do is initially they will encourage them to do that. Yes, you earn money, and then they will hold them accountable. Okay, where is your next donation? Give your donation. If you are giving that as a reason, like when I was in this phase, whether to join or whether to continue this, the very obvious reason that comes to mind is to not give up everything and join us. नहीं पैसे कमा के मंदिर को ही दूंगा ना. So I also said that. So then Sitaram said, okay, then how much you'll give? And then this whole plan was made. 2 lakhs and then 5 lakhs and then after a few years 25 lakhs tak dena padega, dena hi chahiye. Then it is worth being outside. So someone who is genuinely has a desire or interest in spiritual life, then they should be told, okay, if you want to do it, you do it, but then you also give. And by giving, what will happen is, by giving to Krishna, by regularly giving, that's why we regularly at least post messages on the WhatsApp group offering services. Now, whether you take it or not, that's up to you. But we should be in the habit of regularly giving. That creates spiritual credits by which then when we continue associating with those devotees, we come to a stage where we feel, yeah, okay, better than that is to utilize my full time in Krishna service. Krishna will take care of me. My how life will go on, that the Lord is going to take care. Anyway, He is only going to take care. Whether I work or don't work, let me devote my life fully to it. But by initially donating is also performing devotional service, right? The donation is used for Krishna conscious activities. Then we should encourage them to regularly donate. Our Chaitanya Avatar Prabhu is expert in that. Regularly, and then people can come out of that. But in the initial phases, it's also helpful to, when people give this, to also keep them connected to the core aspects of Krishna consciousness. So when that also happens and this happens, then eventually a person can get, if they are serious. If they are not, then no one can help them. Like Prabhupada says, if a person is given a float who's drowning and he doesn't want to accept that, then nobody can help. We have an example. Our Hridaya Prabhu had one donor uh, who gave, who was showing interest in giving something where she could have given something by adding 2 3 zeros to it. But we were discussing and we said that no, let her give this much. She'll get Sukriti for giving to Prabhupada. And then she may get the desire to give more. And that's exactly right. That's exactly what happened. And now she's giving something worthy of her position. So even if someone's position is not to be able to give crores and crores, or everyone who's earning money, ha- it should be in our blood that regularly we should give a portion of that earnings for spreading Krishna consciousness. Not once a year, not twice a year. If you're getting salary every month, we should have that thing. Even if we don't give every month, we give once in 6 months, it should be equivalent to something that we have earned in the last 6 months. And then that is also one way in which our so much time which goes in our profession gets utilized in Krishna consciousness for our advancement. We should never think that I will perform service with my hands and my legs and my mind, but not with my money. Or I am chanting, I am doing this, I am progressing. That is also service to Krishna. It is. But why are you missing out on this opportunity of also giving your salary in Krishna service or your profit in Krishna service? That's an opportunity for you to serve Krishna, which you are denying yourself. What's that money anyway going to do for you? It's not going to be there forever. So here is money, which is also an opportunity to progress in Krishna consciousness. And let not our fear of the future or our miserliness take us away from that opportunity. So, like that, we explain, and the person, if they are genuinely interested, will appreciate the honesty of this message and follow it. Yes, Mataji. I have just, sorry, 1 second. I have made this sort of like an unwritten rule that I will not speak beyond 45 minutes. So the presenter shows now it's 46 minutes, but I concluded 2 minutes back, and Q&A is beyond that 45 minutes. So because I personally cannot pay attention beyond a certain span of time, and it's not very difficult to observe faces and also come to that same conclusion about others. So yeah, yes, Mataji. At all. That's it. See, what should be done is we should try and get up as early as possible. It that as early as possible for working people is as per in such a way that you get some sufficient amount of rest at night. So, uh, like I can just give you my example. When I was working, I used to get up by 5 o'clock every day. Even if I sleep at 12, or even if I sleep at 12:30 because I come home late, I used to get up at 5 o'clock, and I used to have to leave home at 8 o'clock. So I had 3 hours. So that 3 hours, 16 rounds used to easily get done. Bath used to get done, and then while eating breakfast, I used to listen to some lecture. So that was like half an hour I used to get, or 20 minutes. And even while bathing, you can take your mobile phone or your speaker in the bathroom while brushing, while bathing, while getting ready. There's vibration, transcendental sound vibration is going in the ear. So devotees, like as soon as their alarm rings, they start the lectures. Either they have those sound boxes of Prabhupada, or everyone's phone has decent speakers and you have lectures. They start something. But you should systematically hear something. At 5 in the morning, if you're going to do shopping on YouTube to select what lecture you want to hear, then time is going to get wasted. But it should be ready. ये series में मैं सुन रही हूँ, चल रहा है वो. And just switch it on. Even if you're not attentive, something is going, something, one line you will hear. I hope everyone takes a bath. So, 20 minutes to everyone may take from brushing to getting ready, at least 20 minutes. 20 minutes hearing is going on. No one can say no to that. Then you chant. Now, if in your case there's no time and you have to chant while traveling, even you chant while traveling, you get those earplugs. I have earplugs in my beat bag. You get earplugs and chant, you are able to hear yourself better than without that, even if it's noisy outside. Now you have a lunch break. If you make yourself little unsocial in the office, then you can sit and hear a lecture and eat your lunch. That may not be possible for everybody, but for some it may be possible. That can be done. Then while you return again, if there are rounds left, you chant. Or if the rounds are done, we have to see that I should be satisfied with 5.5, 6 hours of sleep, and then it should just be that, not beyond that. 6 hours is, even from medical science perspective, for a grown-up person, 6 hours is sufficient. The Gita, Krishna says, beyond that is mode of ignorance. So therefore, then there is more time in the morning to chant. Then again, while returning in your commute, you can hear something, or you in the local train, of course, you can't read anything, but you can hear. And then when you come home, before you sleep, you remove 10 minutes to read something. So, like this, there is scope for Shravanam, and there is scope for hearing and reading in the day, even in an imperfect situation. And then you have the weekends and you have the holidays where there can be better quality of Shravanam and Kirtanam. We have to make use of the best of the bad bargain that we have. The material world is a bad bargain. It's a bad bargain. Once Prabhupada was in Mauritius and he was traveling somewhere, and there was a road construction, and there was a sign that said temporary inconvenience, permanent satisfaction. Something like that. Temporary inconvenience, permanent satisfaction. And Prabhupada said there should be a sign outside the material world which says temporary satisfaction, permanent inconvenience. That's the material world. So, in that bad situation which all of us are in, we have to make the best of it. And that is called as intelligence. That is use of intelligence, not how to earn more money. That is karma. That's going to come even to a dumb person who has money in his or her karma. It's going to come. Intelligence means how I can become more Krishna conscious in this situation. And then in your non-busy times, then take more shelter of Shravanam and Kirtanam. There are times where a devotee who has more time could misuse his or her time because he or she feels that I have time. And a devotee whose schedule is like this will actually utilize their time in a better way and they can actually progress nicely. Whereas this person who has a lot of time becomes lazy. So don't feel that just because your schedule is like this, you cannot progress. You can actually, that greed for I need more, I need to remove some time will actually can actually ensure that your quality of Shravanam and Kirtanam is good. Because the only time I'm going to listen is in this bath. So I better be attentive. Or the only time I'm going to listen is in this local train. So with all the crap that's going on in the local train, let me hear the lecture nicely. Or the only time I'm going to be able to read is this 10 minutes before I sleep. So, chalo, let me make use of this 10 minutes. Char purport अच्छे से पढ़ा. So keep doing that. At the same time, keep having desire of wanting to be able to perform Krishna consciousness in a better way. And if we do our part nicely, Krishna will arrange his thing. That we I can speak from my personal experience. If you do your part nicely, Krishna will arrange. We should do our part nicely. We should not feel अरे ये नहीं होता तो मैं ज़्यादा कर सकती थी, अरे मेरा ये situation नहीं होता लाइफ में तो ज़्यादा अच्छा होता. We all have our situation, which if that situation would not have been there in our mind, we would have become pure devotees by now, or we would have been doing lot more Krishna consciousness. Everyone has that situation. Those who are doing good also have situations which they are overcoming. So in this way you can do that. So contemplate, make notes. That's one of the best ways to retain things that we hear. Make notes. Either keep a diary and a pen, or use your notepad on the phone and make notes, and then refer to those notes the day after the class or after the class, and then you see what you wrote, and you'll remember, oh yeah, I heard this. Making notes is very important. There are some people who can hear very nicely, and then there are others who cannot hear very nicely. So I belong to the second category. So I had like 4 or 5 notebooks. I still have 1 or 2 of them filled with notes. You write who's speaking, you write the topic, you write the date, and then you write points that you hear. And that's a very good way of retaining. It is just Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. You hear, you contemplate, and only then you will be able to apply. Nididhyasana means to apply in our life. Shravanam, hearing, doesn't just stop at that. Mananam, churning what we hear, and then applying what we hear in our life. And then that is called as progress. So make notes, that's the best way. Otherwise, worship one of those demigods for knowledge. Yes, Mataji. I mentioned that, no? There are always going to be less intelligent people who cannot accept this. There should be something for them. So for them, they are told that don't just think that on your own personal endeavor you will get all these things. Even for this, you have to accept someone superior. So accept this demigod if you want this, and accept that demigod if you want that. Follow those rules and regulations to be able to get that. What will happen by following that? One is the sinful element to get those things will go away, because now you are going to get it through puja, you're going to get it through dan, you're going to get it through tapasya. That's how the demigods are pleased. Right? So by regulating your life to please the demigod, what happens is you still get what you want, but now your life becomes regulated. When your life becomes regulated, it becomes more in the mode of goodness. When it becomes more in the mode of goodness, a person will start to feel, okay, what is there beyond this? And then they will come to asking the question of what is the ultimate goal of life. He's not just leaving it at that. The next verse, he says, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. So he's giving context that you want this, go here. You want that, don't waste your time. You want this, just go here. Don't come to Krishna. Just do this, this, this if you want Krishna. And then the rest of the whole chapter is about that. But it's basically everyone knowing that in Kali Yuga, everyone who approaches Bhagavatam is not having no material desires. And so therefore bringing this. Okay. So the chapter actually doesn't end here. The chapter has 25 verses. There's no time now. The last 5 verses are a description of, because now after speaking things like this, that every rising and setting of the sun, a person who's not performing Hari Katha, their life is getting destroyed. The goal of life is to worship and perform Hari Katha, association of devotees. Then Sukadev Goswami is thinking, उसके बाद भी जो लोग नहीं करते हैं, and then he's describing them. Is in his enthusiasm to preach pure devotional service, as well as his genuine concern for those after hearing all this still do not become serious in their spiritual life. He speaks the last 5 verses where he says anybody who doesn't have interest in Hari Katha, you know, they don't have interest in looking at the devotees or the form of the Lord. Their eyes are like the eyes of the peacock feather. Useless eyes. If you want to just see other things, and useless eyes. And similarly, every limb of their body are compared to some useless thing, and he concludes by saying their life is useless. Life is useless. So you can read those 5 verses at home. We will conclude with some words from Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, only in the association of such devotees are the transcendental glories of Lord Krishna properly discussed. It is said by the Lord that his topics are all full of spiritual significance, and once one properly hears about them in the association of a satam, pure devotee, certainly one senses the great potency and so automatically attains to the devotional stage of life. As already described, Maharaj Parikshit was a great devotee of the Lord from his very birth, and so was Shukadev Goswami. Both of them were on the same level. Although it appeared that Maharaj Parikshit was a great king accustomed to all royal facilities, whereas Shukadev Goswami was a typical renouncer of the world. So much so that he did not even put a cloth on his body. Superficially, Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami might seem to be opposites, but basically, they were both unalloyed, pure devotees of the Lord. When such devotees assemble together, there can be no topics save discussions on the glories of the Lord or Bhakti Yoga. Srila Prabhupada ki. So we have a couple of announcements. One is that 25th March is Gaur Purnima, the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this month of March, we are encouraging the distribution of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, sets of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita sets are not very expensive. How many of you have Chaitanya Charitamrita set at home? So there are many who don't have. So I would really urge you to buy a set for yourself now in this month, and please buy it from us so that our book distribution score increases. But buy a set of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati called Chaitanya Charitamrita a Bengali sweet. Chaitanya Charitamrita is written in Bengali. And if you have experience of having a Bengali sweet like a rasgulla, uh, the sweetness drips out of your mouth. It's so sweet. So he said Chaitanya Charitamrita, wherever you start, it's all sweet. And Srila Prabhupada, when he was on the Jaladuta going to America, he suffered 2 heart attacks. In his diary, he wrote, "The only solace I am getting is by reading the wonderful narrations of Chaitanya Charitamrita." Prabhupada had a copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita in Bengali on the ship, and he was reading that. Prabhupada called Chaitanya Charitamrita as the postgraduate study. Does anyone know why it is called as the postgraduate study? Sorry? Mind of the Lord. Okay. Mind of the Lord is revealed in Bhagavad Gita itself, actually. Man mana bhava mad bhakto. Krishna is saying, just think of me, worship me. That's Krishna's mind. He wants us to do that, in one sense. Okay, it's the highest philosophy. But high philosophy is also given in the Bhagavatam in like the 11th canto, where the Uddhav Gita is spoken. And some things which Krishna did not speak in Bhagavad Gita also, because Arjuna was a Kshatriya, he spoke to Uddhava, who was a Brahmana, in high thing. Although high philosophy definitely is there, highest philosophy is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The mind of the Lord is revealed in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There is one reason which is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is in such quantum in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is not there anywhere else. Yes. Uh, Dealings between devotees, association of devotees. Today we discussed association of devotees that is exemplified in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And therefore it is called the postgraduate study. So please get a copy for yourself. If you have, you can gift it to somebody. But please take Chaitanya. Of course, you will have to gift it to a devotee only. Although we have people in this room who've distributed Chaitanya Charitamrita sets to random strangers on the street. Or Hridaya Prabhu. So please distribute Chaitanya Charitamrita sets. We can take a quota for our group of number of sets. Next week, no one will come. Next week is महाशिवरात्रि. प्रभु जी वो स्लाइड में 2 बार शिव जी का नाम आया था और 1 बार गॉडेस उमा का नाम आया था. वो तीनों चीज मेरे को बहुत प्रिय है. आई एम गोइंग, bum bum bole, I'll go and worship Lord Shiva. I have no time for coming here, but at least 15 sets this room should buy/distribute. 1-5. That's not too much to ask. So you see your part. 1-1-1-1-1-1-1. We are actually 50 people here. We can do 50 sets, but some may not be able to or want to do. It's not very expensive also. Chaitanya Charitamrita set is I think 3,000 rupees. So it's not like Bhagavatam. So think about it. You can donate for a CC set. You can gift someone a CC set. Those who don't have it can buy a CC set. And in this way, we can bring auspiciousness in our life by becoming instruments in either getting Chaitanya Charitamrita in our home or giving it to somebody else. So please take advantage of that. And so 25th, Gaur Purnima, we will have a festival here. There'll be Shobha Yatra in the morning. There'll be Abhishek in the evening. There's fasting till evening. We also have a festival in our temple in Bhiwandi. And we'll arrange transportation for those who are interested to come. So you can mark your calendar. And please, if you don't have a holiday, although it is holy, so it's a holiday for everyone. But please participate in the Chaitanya Charitamrita festival. Let us conclude by some kirtan from His Grace Shantivardhan Prabhu. Hare Krishna.